Hello, and welcome to Your School in Real Time, a brand new television series that allows local high schools to promote any upcoming events, special achievements, or student recognitions. And on today's show is featured the Williams School, a small independent day school located on Connecticut College campus in New London, Connecticut, grades 6 through 12, and they're going to be talking about a special program called Compchorea. So, what is Compchorea? I think that's best that we turn to the instructor of dance, Miss Bo.
Thanks. Compchorea is a concert of music and dance. The music is created and performed by students, so they compose it, and the dances are created and performed by students. They choreograph it, and those two words together made the word Compchorea. Originally we thought about, or it was thought about, I wasn't there then, calling it Compchoreo, but Compchorea sounded better, and that's the way it's been ever since the first Compchorea in 1982.
All right, well, can you explain a little bit, like, is it dancing, is it music, who can get involved?
Okay, it's both dance and music. For the dance component, dancers decide that they want to choreograph a dance, and they can do a solo, a duet, a group dance. They hold their own auditions, they get their dancers together, their music together, they make their own rehearsal schedule, they work on it, and then and usually they start probably about, I would say by October, everybody's pretty much underway. And then they have a series of showings. They meet with me and also with our theater teacher, Jane Martineau. She's also the head of our arts department, and they show us the dances along the way as they're developed. And then they have an audition to get their dance into the show, and that happens in early February, so we just completed that process. Also, I choreograph two pieces, which allows students to dance in a more professional dance piece. They have to audition for my pieces as well. I give them a rehearsal schedule. We start rehearsing in October, and we rehearse all the way through February, and those are also performed in Compchorea. The music, I can turn to Ethan in a moment. He's a musician. But the musicians compose their pieces. Again, they go through a process with our music teacher, Anastasia Elliott. They promote their idea, they present it to her, they get together their own groups of musicians, they rehearse, and then they audition also. And when they're in Compchorea, then they know to work toward the performance. And also another interesting aspect of Compchorea is that all of the technical work, all of the backstage work, including setting up, running the show, cleaning up afterward, is done by students under the direction of the faculty.
So this is almost completely student-oriented. I mean, the students are choreographing their own dances or composing their own music.
Yes.
They're teaching others, they're doing their own staging, lighting, everything.
Exactly, yes.
So the teachers are more as a guide to them.
We are a guide, but when it's time for the lights up and the show happens, students are calling the cues and running the show under the direction primarily of Mrs. Martineau, but obviously with the help of Miss Elliott and myself.
All right, so you're the instructor of dance at Williams. Does
Yes.
that mean that there are dance classes offered as part of the curriculum at Williams?
Yes, at Williams, in grades 6, 7, and 8, all students take dance as part of their enrichment. They also take all of the arts, including music and theater and visual art. And then in upper school, students choose what arts they would like to take. Many of them are able to double up, and I have upper school dance classes at the beginning, intermediate, and advanced levels, also known as Dance 1, 2, and 3.
Wow, that's great, and that counts as part of the credit.
Yes.
Now, do you bring in other choreographers from outside of the school and bring them in to help with Compchorea?
Not specifically for Compchorea, although last year we had a really exciting thing happen. I had a student who had gone to Williams we then were only 7th grade. We added our 6th grade this year. He had gone 7 through 12 at Williams. He went to Connecticut College, became a dance major, and came back last year and choreographed a piece which he put on my advanced class, and they performed it in Compchorea. And it was great fun because he had been in Compchoreas all along, and then he came back and put a piece on. So I do have guest teachers come in, but not very often guest choreographers.
Gotcha. All right. Well, is there a different theme to Compchorea each year since, you're letting the students choreograph their own dances and everything?
Right. We don't have a specific theme, although many dance schools or studios do, or even other high school productions. I think if I had to say, our theme would be creative and do the thing that you love. Because we could have dances that are tap, modern, jazz, ballet, Irish step, anything that a student is interested in and wants to do. And we have an interesting piece this year. We have a gymnast, and she's doing a kind of dance combination floor routine. So it's really fun.
That's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, so it's open to, if you're open to creative ideas, Compchorea is the place.
So it's really more about just a way to express yourself. It's about expression through the dance and the music and everything.
Right.
Nice.
To see your idea come to fruition, to take your creativity, and also to take the technical aspects, because we have classes in all of these disciplines. So you're putting together everything that you've learned in class, all of your technique, and you put that together with your creativity and your imagination, and that's how you get what you perform.
So what kind of techniques do you teach in your classes?
In my classes at Williams, I primarily teach what would be called contemporary dance, which is modern with lots of elements of ballet. I've studied lots of different forms of dance, also jazz too. I've done a lot of jazz dance. So I put them all together, and maybe Grace and Katie might be able to speak to that. They've taken my classes and choreographed. But I don't do just one particular genre. I like to change it up. And if I've had a new experience, I tried hula hooping one time, and I brought in a hoop dancer and a hoop dance teacher. She was our guest teacher, and in the end, one of my students really was very good at it, and she ended up going on and choreographing pieces with the hoop and performing them in Compchorea. So I'm always open to bringing people in and trying new things, not only for myself, but for my students.
Wow, so you've mentioned a couple of students now that have graduated from Williams and gone on with dance. Is that something that happens often, that your classes really benefit students and lead them into continuing with it?
Yeah, I've had a couple of students that has happened for. There's one who just graduated this past June, and she's now pursuing her dancing. She's out in LA. And of course, the young man that I mentioned who came back, he's now in Germany studying. So we do have students that go on. And what I think is amazing is that many of them come in not having had experience. And they come into high school or middle school, and they have the opportunity to take dance, and it can completely change the direction of their life, which is what happened to me, which is why I'm a high school dance teacher.
That's amazing,
So,
and that's such a great thing that Williams offers this that other schools might not. Now, what do you think is so great about Compchorea? Like, what makes it so special that makes it stand out?
I think what makes it stand out is the fact that we have original music, we have original choreography, we have students who have not only designed their own pieces, but they costume them, they figure out the lighting. They're also in my pieces frequently. Well, not frequently, but often we've done collaborations where we have musicians who are playing their own pieces. We've also incorporated the visual arts. We worked together with one of the art classes a couple years ago. They designed sets for us, and they designed props that we used. And then the music class one of the music classes created the music, and we created the dance. So it was all three departments got together. So I just think Compchorea is different because of the genesis with the student ideas. So we're not bringing in a script, or we're not bringing in someone with a routine. It's being created by the students, and the seed of it is their ideas. So.
Now, you mentioned the three different departments. Is it possible for students in each department to, participate, someone who's in music to participate in a dance, or vice versa? Yeah,
that crosses over. We've had many students literally who are running up to play a music piece because the musicians are up above the dance stage, and then they run back down and they quickly change, and they're out on stage dancing, which is an amazing opportunity.
That's great. Now, I think that's a good transition into
It
getting
sure
the
is.
student perspective. So now I'm going to talk to Katie and Grace. You're both dancers, correct?
Yes.
All right. So what grade are you in?
I'm in 12th grade. I'm in 12th grade too.
And how long have you been participating in Compchorea?
I started in 10th grade, so this will be my 3rd year.
I started in 9th grade, so this is my 4th year.
And what have been your roles? Have you just been dancers? Have you choreographed your own dances?
Well, in 10th grade, I was just a dancer, and then actually last year we choreographed our first piece together. So
Really? What was it? What techniques did it incorporate? Was it like jazz, ballet, modern?
I would say it's like modern lyrical.
Yeah, definitely with a few ballet things thrown in there.
Now, how do you feel you benefit from being able to participate in this type of program?
I'd say the biggest benefit for me is just meeting kids at school that I normally wouldn't talk to, and getting to, switch roles and be the teacher for once and act like Miss Bo, and
Yeah.
and really put my own ideas on stage and see what I want to see come to life. And it's really just a great opportunity to put yourself out there in a way that you can't at some other places.
Yeah, and I definitely agree. There was a lot of times when we met people I wouldn't normally talk to, like younger kids or older kids. And before I would participate in Compchorea, I didn't really dance at all, so it was really interesting to try it and realize I really liked it.
Oh, that's great. Do you also participate in the dance classes offered at Williams?
Yes, I started with dance classes at Williams in 8th grade. I was in the enrichment classes, and then in 9th grade I went into a beginner intermediate mix, and since then I've been in Dance 2 and Dance 3.
Yeah, and I started in 10th grade in beginner intermediate and then moved up to advanced 2 and 3.
Wow, so do you find it hard balancing being in Compchorea, being a program that demands so much of you, and also keeping up with your studies?
It's a lot of work, but I think it's definitely manageable if you use your time right.
I agree. It's definitely, we'll be at school sometimes for 7 hours on a Sunday rehearsing, or
Yes.
I'll get home at 6 o'clock on a Wednesday night and have 4 hours of homework to do maybe, but it's all definitely worth it, and it's not a lot of work when you think about it. It's just you need to be able to manage your time and get priorities set straight so you can get everything done.
Understandable time management, learning that. Now, since you guys are choreographing your own dances, or have in the past, do you have people audition to be in your dances?
Last year we actually didn't do auditions. We just asked a couple of dancers that we knew from class and from other pieces if they would be interested in doing our dances and doing the dance with us, and they said yes. And this year we're both choreographing our own group pieces, and we did hold auditions at the beginning of the year where we had students from all different grades come, and we taught them some combinations and did some exercises with them, and then chose who we wanted in our dance based on that.
Now,
Yeah.
when do you find the time to rehearse these?
Well,
Question.
we usually use like our snack time or lunches or ninth periods to do the rehearsals for them, so it's kind of all day.
What's ninth period?
It's the extra time we get. It's like 45 minutes at the end of the day that we can use to see teachers or hold rehearsals and things like that.
Interesting. That's the only school I've heard that does that. Now, of course, what's been your favorite part?
Favorite part of Compchorea?
It can be from this year or past years.
I think my favorite part was just doing things that I never saw myself doing. I know in 10th grade, Katie and I were both in a piece called Patterns and Landscapes, where we actually wore these unitards that the art class had painted for us, and they looked like different patterns taken from nature, and they're all different colors, and then we put crazy makeup on our face and to match our unitards, and we got on stage and we did this like 5 or 6 minute long piece where we were taking patterns and mimicking them and throwing them all throughout the piece, and trying to create landscapes on stage. And that was one of the coolest things that I've ever done and ever gotten to see the tape of, or ever gotten to really participate in and be a part of.
So you're taking aspects from everywhere, from dance classes, and then do you guys also dance outside of school?
I do. I take classes at Dancers Inc. and Mystic, so I do like ballet and lyrical and things like that. So.
And do you think that's benefited you dancing inside school and out?
Yeah, it definitely has, because you get different aspects. Dancing in school is a lot of, like Miss Bo said, modern and jazz, and then outside of school I do more like ballet.
And have either of you worked with, we previously talked about choreographers coming in. Have either of you worked with one of those?
Yeah, last year we were both in the Advanced 2 class that worked with Aaron, who came in from College, and it was really nice because he took time out of his day to come over to Williams, and he would warm us up and he would get us ready and he would teach us this really, really cool piece. And it was just really, it was nice to work with someone else and to get someone else's perspective and learn from someone else, and it was really, the piece was amazing when it came together.
So you mentioned having someone come from College. I'll switch back to Ms. Fo for this question.
Okay.
Do you have any benefits of being located on Connecticut College campus?
Yeah, there are some benefits. Well, there are many benefits to being on the campus, of course, not to mention that it's a beautiful place to be. But our students through the New London Scholars Program are able to take classes at Connecticut College, not just in dance, but I've had, I think it's 3 now, students go over in dance. And also to have their students come, not only Aaron Davis, who was a student of mine, but 2 other students from Connecticut College have come over and worked with my students. And also I'm fortunate enough to have met and gotten to know David Dorfman, who is the head of the department, the dance department at Connecticut College. So it's a wonderful resource. And of course we can walk right across the street and see any number of wonderful concerts at Connecticut College. So there's definitely a benefit.
All right,
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, I should probably move on to the musical aspect.
Yeah.
We've been spending time talking about dancing and everything. So, Ethan, what grade are you in?
So I'm Ethan. I'm in 11th grade at Williams, and I'm playing piano this year in Compchorea. So, like Ms. Bo mentioned before, Compchorea gives not only dancers but musicians a chance to compose their own music piece, whether alone or in a group. The options are pretty endless when it comes to that. There's a variety of instruments, a variety of disciplines.
Is this your first year participating in Compchorea?
Yes.
All right, so you're the newbie.
Yeah.
How's it been so far?
It's been really great. It's a little different than one might think when it comes to music. I know that for dance, I see the dancers are really hands-on and take a good portion of time out of their schedule to go to rehearsals, and I think that takes a lot of energy, and I'm pretty impressed with the way that they organize that, because you've got choreographers that have to organize their times and get all their people together, and in the musical side of Compchorea, I think it takes a lot less organization in that department, because you're really working with a smaller group of people, and a lot of the work that you do is on your own. Of course, practicing in a group is an important thing, but even if you are in a group, a lot of the writing happens on your own. And so it really comes down to finding time to sit down at your instrument, with your instrument, and playing it.
Do you have to audition to be part of the musical aspect of Compchorea?
Yes, there's an audition that takes place early in the year, around October, and what you do is you don't have to have a piece ready to audition with. You don't have to have written a piece previously, you can, but what you would do is play something that you've either written previously or something that you've learned, and you really just have to show some level of adeptness or skill at a certain instrument, just so they know that you can really follow through with writing the piece.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, like dance, are there music classes offered at Williams?
Yes, there are music classes offered at Williams. It goes from enrichment, which is for the younger classes, to the advanced comp classes, which I know some of my friends are taking and are very hands-on and go very in-depth in the field of music, the different disciplines of music.
Now, would you say, you talked about people performing solo or in groups, would you say that people tend to lean more one way than the other, or is there a balance?
There's actually a pretty even balance. I know a lot of people that will do a group piece and then also do a solo piece. For example, this year I'm doing a solo piece and I'm also doing a group piece. So it really does have a pretty even split.
What about teachers? I'm sure teachers would love to participate in this. Is there any teachers that, perform in a band or anything?
You know, I'm not sure that I've seen, being that I've only been at Williams this is my second year now at Williams, I haven't seen a teacher perform in the band itself. I do know of teachers who play instruments at the school and have partaken in certain events at the school with their instrument, but I haven't seen anyone play in Compchorea yet.
Interesting. And what's been your favorite part of Compchorea so far? I know this is your first year.
So far, my favorite part of Compchorea would probably be sitting down and having a purpose to work at my instrument. I really I like to play the piano is my instrument, and what I'll do is I'll play it pretty aimlessly usually, practicing, but having Compchorea gives you a real purpose and a mission to kind of actually do something at the piano, you know, sit down and put more thought into it than you usually would.
Now, I heard a rumor about you as these guys came in. Do you know how to read music, or do you learn by watching people's hands?
No, yeah, I do not know how to read sheet music, which is rough when people find that out. I put a lot of effort into learning by watching people, like you mentioned. I learn off of YouTube. I've watched people play and tried to pick it off of that. I never really took lessons, so I kind of started working on piano more as a hobby and sort of fell into it not knowing the basic structure. So I do get a lot of lip from my fellow composers when I won't know what a certain chord is, but you know.
That's so interesting. Now, what piece are you working on now, since you can't read script music? Are you working on something that's somebody else has written, or are you writing your own piece?
Well, I'm working on two pieces right now, a solo piece and a group piece, like I mentioned before. The group piece there's two of us. It'll be my friend Mahal playing the cello, and I'll be on the piano. That we really don't, like you said, again, not reading the sheet music and everything, we actually don't transcribe. All the writing that we've done so far has been memorized, and so that's really how I've been doing it. My solo piece as well, it's memorized. I have transcribed my own music before. It's not too difficult to do if you really sit down and put work into finding out how to do the notation, but most of the writing that I do is in my head.
That's so interesting. I've never heard of anyone who does that before. Now, you mentioned before how you're playing the piano and that your friend is playing the cello. What other kinds of instruments are being played in Compchorea this year?
There's a real plethora of instruments. We have some pretty interesting ones this year. We have a harp, which I think is pretty cool, which I heard last year as well, playing. And the girl who plays it, Elena, is very talented. I've never actually seen a harp before in concert, but hearing one, you know, in person is a very interesting experience. And that's really the most specialized instrument I think we have in Compchorea. Besides that, we have guitarists, we have other piano players, violinists. That really covers the main groups that really enter. And then the harp is sort of the strange one in the group, but I'm sure another one will come along soon and blow it away.
You guys are making me feel so sad. I'm not musically inclined or dance or anything. I wish I was part of this. Now, Ms. Bowe, back to you.
Okay.
Is there any last things that you would like to talk about Compchorea? Anything that you think the public should know about?
Well, I could pitch when it is.
All right. That might be helpful.
Yeah. It's going to take place on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, February 26th, 27th, and 28th at 7 p.m. at the Williams School in the Performing Arts Center, known as the Darren PAC, P-A-C, for Performing Arts Center. The tickets are a mere $6, well worth it, and they are reserved seats. So I know some places you buy your ticket and you hope for the best, but you do get a reserved seat at Compchorea.
All right, hear that, everyone? Buy your tickets soon.
And it is one of the most popular. I mean, we have wonderful performances at Williams, but Compchorea pretty much sells out every night, every year. It's very popular, and it involves a wide range of students. So it is popular within school. And boy, if we could get a couple of teachers in there, it would definitely sell.
I'm sure it would. Well, I loved hearing about this. Thank you so much, everyone. And that's our show for today. If you're interested in featuring your school on Your School in Real Time, you can email me, Beatrice Mills, at the email yourschoolinrealtime@yahoo.com. I hope to see you next time. Thank you.